Hi, Sarah. Ashley here again. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're enjoying your week and getting some time to actually enjoy some summer. Um, yeah, so to jump into it, I really think the way I think because I'm elementary, when I think about counseling and especially career and college readiness counseling in high school. I think for some reason I think it would be really interesting, and actually watching a bunch of people's videos has made me think that I might be interested in counseling in high school in general. But I really love I've always been really good at figuring out what I need to do to go to school, any school, and I've never really needed a counselor or advisor. So I thought that it would be fun to jump into something like that because I already do. I think I'm pretty proficient at doing that myself, and think it would be fun to teach and help kids do that for themselves too, or also just expose them to that. So yeah, I think I'm looking at my notes, so pardon me. I think it's really amazing that your school district provides the PSAT and the SAT specifically during school hours. I don't know what my school district does because as I said, I'm elementary. I'm not sure what that looks like for them. I haven't heard anything about them providing those tests, let alone during school hours. I think that's really valuable and it really gets the kids interested, because it's like really wants to spend one of their weekends coming to school to take a test. I remember I avoided the SAT for the life of me because it was always on the weekend. Um, and I just was fearful of it because I didn't have a lot of training or studying to prep me for that. So I think your school district seems to do a lot in when it comes to career and college readiness for these kiddos, which I commend, and I think that's really awesome. And it's really great. You were talking about how your school is 9 through 12, and you have several counselors that you kind of group by, I believe you said alphabetical order is where they get their caseload. But then you were saying previously you had worked in a district where they would group them by grade level. And I think that there's something really valuable in not doing it by grade level, because then you get the ability to collaborate and work collectively with a group of counselors to address some of the needs that are being met, or some of the needs that are there for those different grade levels. Whereas, if you were just in ninth grade, you were working on these issues, the 10th grade or 11th grade counselor might not be as knowledgeable in that area to assist you with that. So that's really awesome that your school district does that, and specifically your school. I also love that they have that homeroom class for those issues or those problematic things that kids are working through. So often I think school is just academics, academics, academics. You have to learn. But then it's also about, okay, I love that they bring in that aspect of, yeah, academics and I have to learn, but I'm also a human that goes through these things, and sometimes I need support to deal with them or to overcome them or to understand them. So that's really awesome too. And then you were talking about things that you would want to do with the career aptitude test, providing that during, making a unit for that homeroom, providing the aptitude test during that. And then from there, you discussed having, based on the results, having guided presentations and career fairs. I really love that you specifically said career fairs, because we know that not everyone wants to go to college. And I think that in the past, to me, it was always about college. School was always about, people were always talking about going to college and not so much the workforce right after graduation. So I love that you wanted to explore that with your kids or your students, to be able to say, look, here are the options for colleges, right? Here are things you could do. But then there's also this career fair that we could have, and we could bring in people who would let you know the requirements. So those elective courses, or any courses that they could take that would supplement or give them a little bit of readiness to jump into that career, they would be able to utilize that and actually take that. So I love that idea as well. And then you were talking about, oh, that was related to having so many CT options available for them. And it's hard to choose. When I was in school, our high school had like this academy. I'm coming from my experience as a high schooler because I don't have experience in working with high schoolers. So our high school, I don't remember what they called it, but they had like these little academies that you could go into. So there was like a data academy, a medical academy, a workshop academy. I think there was one for the drama and arts. And it was so overwhelming to know what to do. And I personally didn't do any of those because I was in this like IB course, but anyway, I just chose not to do it. And I've said this to some other people, like I intentionally at one point lowered my scores so I wouldn't be admitted into the actual like IB. I was in pre-IB my first freshman and sophomore year, and then I kind of lowered my scores. It was like a C student, and because I didn't want to go into it. I didn't want the academic rigor. I wanted to have a social life, and so yeah, I didn't get the choice to be in one of those academies because I was on a different path, and that just wasn't for me. And then I felt like it was a little bit unfair, and nobody ever addressed that with me. Nobody ever, counselors, no one ever kind of made me go into an academy. So I had 3 electives instead of like an academy curriculum elective. Or yeah, it was frustrating. So I could see how like too many options would be overwhelming, right? Because when I first went to college, that being said, I didn't have that. I jumped for like the first 2 years of my post-secondary education. I jumped around from 2 or 3 different areas of study. And I think about it was really frustrating, and I think about the amount of money I wasted on paying for those courses that I never utilized. Still never utilized. Business was one of them. I'm just like not a business. Yeah. And so you waste a lot of money, and a lot of that money that's being wasted is also borrowed money. So it puts a lot of people into debt, and it's really frustrating. And that's why I think that this topic is pretty important, especially at the high school, or high school. I think important all around. It encompasses all of it, but especially in those later years where kids are really assessing their strengths and their challenges in the sense of where they want to go when they leave high school. I also loved, the job fair that you were talking about. I said that. And then job shadowing. I think that's so powerful to be able to do that, because we can all think that we want to do something, but then the second we step into it, we're just like, oh no, this is not what I want to do. There's a lot more that it entails than I was even aware. Like even in this program, the things that we're gonna go through. I had never thought about career counseling, especially at the elementary level. I hadn't really thought about it at all. So that kind of being able to do that and being able to shadow and walk in the life of what that career or job or education might look like would be really beneficial for kids in solidifying that and taking the steps to move forward. When you were talking about I hate this word, but I tell you the truth, competencies, and you were talking about the professional personal qualities and skills of effective leaders, and then the other one was know and understand someone will do better and advance an education of others in the workforce. The one thing that you said that really stuck with me is that student successes come in many forms, and you're absolutely right. Like, we can't judge a book by its cover. We can have this baseline of what we think a success looks like, but it looks so different and for so many different people, not just kids, but in the sense kids, and in different capacities. So and then so getting a college degree doesn't always mean everything, and I really like that as a high school counselor you have that mindset, especially even like with your plans with having the job fair and having people from the community come in and say, well, like these are the requirements, this is what you're going to need. Those are some really great ideas, and I think you're going to be really awesome, and I really can't wait to continue working with you. I hope you enjoy the rest of your week and weekend, and I'll see you next time. Bye.